Thank you for joining us for a special autoimmune table talk live with Dr. Maggie in the kitchen today.
Hell yes.
You talk frequently about the importance of having fat in your diet.
100%. And so one of the things I talk about is when you're talking about balancing blood sugar, when you're dealing with people with multiple food sensitivities, digestive problems, the number one deficiency that people have with chronic disease is fat.
Okay.
And yet, fat is really important in making hormones. It's really important for your brain to actually make brain hormones. Fat is also important as grounding of your blood sugar throughout the entire day. So, if you can't already tolerate a lot of foods, you have a very limited diet, or you can't even get your protein in, fat is the last thing you want to eat.
Mhm.
So, eating fat from organic animals, that makes sense to me. Organic butter, go organic with that. If you can't tolerate or you don't want to eat that kind of fat, it's a vegetarian source of fat, would be like avocado, would be like MCT oil. But here's the thing, don't just get like coconut oil. Don't do just like any old MCT oil, because the active ingredient in MCT that really does the good shit, there's C8, C9, C10. And one of the most important ingredients is C8, and yet is the least. If you're looking at like MCT, the amount of C8 in it is like less than 5%.
Oh,
So we have concentrated C8 here. And why is C8? I'm going to ask the alumni, why is C8 of MCT particularly so amazing for people dealing with chronic disease of any type, hormone balance issues, blood sugar issues, and infections? Okay, they're going to start answering in chat. I don't know. And do you know? Do you remember one reason?
gosh, and of course. I remember definitely in the program you talking about that C8 is the type that is needed, and it's not found in many. I want to say you even said that it's challenging to get sometimes, but you guys are able to source it and you're able to get that in, and it's for inflammation, goes straight to the brain barrier.
So can I tell you guys what C8 actually is? So C8, the common name for it is caprylic acid. Caprylic acid is one of the most powerful nutraceuticals to actually kill infection. Boom. Okay. So any of you guys are thinking like, I'm dealing with an infection and all this, and you're all worried about that. Why not, as you're taking in fat every day, be killing infection every day?
Yeah.
Right? Why not help the good bacteria in your gut to be actually balancing out the bad bacteria by lowering the level of bad bacteria or fungus? Caprylic acid is one of the most effective killer of yeast and candida that are multi-resistant.
I recently bought this because I remember you talking about how great it is, but I haven't yet used it because I'm not quite sure some ideas of how to use it. So I'm excited to hear from you today on what you do with it.
Right here, right now.
There's the blender again.
I just got my C8 in my matcha latte.
Put it right in there. So I want to say you talked a little bit in the program too about the amount. You want to be a little bit conservative at first, right? With the amount that
Yeah.
you use.
So when you're looking at this, the cool thing about this is to understand the properties of this. It does not have a super high temperature. So you don't, to keep the benefits of it, you want to cook it minimally. Okay. So the least you cook it, the more straight out of the bottle uses it, the more benefits you're going to have of it. Right. So, and the other thing is, doesn't have a flavor. It's not like you're going to get coconutty flavoring in your food
Mhm.
whatsoever. There is no flavor whatsoever. So, right. So you can take it and put it straight into your, like, you can put it straight in here, put it in your coffee, put it in your golden balance, put it in your tea, and use a hand blender with this. And it's like, it really like, I love the hand blender idea, because think about, you're not going to go full out like emulsifying it, but at the same time, you're not like, there's no layer of fat in it. This is my regular matcha latte that have 1 or 2 teaspoons of this.
Right. There's so many good things that you're adding here. And I guess you could
Well,
probably add it to a smoothie as well.
you can add it cold to all your cold beverages. So I would definitely put in a smoothie all the time, especially these thick ones to get the fat into it. The other thing that you can put into smoothies is avocado. So
Yeah.
avocado is really a great green to put in there. It makes it creamy and all that.
Hey,
And
yeah.
so these are great fats to add straight into your cold beverage, right? And the other thing is I use it as salad oil, and I use it as a topper. So if you have a soup, think about this. In Italy, when you have really awesome lentil soup, which is the only kind I make, they top it with some olive oil right on the very top before they drink the soup. Now imagine you're making soup or chili for your kids. Shh, it'll be our little secret.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of uses for this oil in particular. A lot of people have great ideas and saying it's going to be all over my salad.
And you mentioned the question was somebody asked the question, which was how much? And so, because here's the thing number one, it's incredible. It crosses the gut blood barrier. So, it's fat that actually can get into your body.
Mhm.
Number two is that it crosses the blood brain barrier. So, it's immediate fuel for your brain, which is like made of fat. Your brain is giant, healthy fat cells. So, it really needs this. And if you're fat deprived, you wonder why you have depression, anxiety, brain fog, or fatigue in your brain, right? So, to me, this is rocket fuel for the brain. And what you had mentioned was the antimicrobial properties of this, which means that because it is so high in C8 and the way that this is processed, we have the full activity of the C8, which means it's going to kick some antimicrobial ass. And anybody that has listened to me talk about how the program is really anti infection, and anybody in the program knows that there's something called die off, which means that when you kill a bunch of gangsters, they like to scream and shout and get all their, what we call LPS, the inside of these guys open up and they go into the bloodstream, goes towards your liver. It can cause a massive, what we call die off reaction. So it's not like it's a bad thing, it's a good thing, but it's just carnage, right? So, so I take this product and I say, start with 1 teaspoon or even half a teaspoon, and you can work up to about 2 tablespoons a day. But don't start at 2 tablespoons, because you start at 2 tablespoons, you're like, why am I getting constipated? Why am I having diarrhea? It's because there's a shit ton of bacteria or fungus dying, if that makes sense to you guys. So protein balances blood sugar. So if you're going to ground your blood sugar with collagen, any protein you eat, if you're going to do fat, like pro MCT, like fat and protein will stabilize blood sugar throughout the day. You can stabilize your blood sugar within 48 hours. And when you do that, anxiety can be gone in 48 hours. If you're interested in learning more about our programs, I'm going to have my team put in a link to just chat with our team through Messenger. If you're interested in any of these products, we have a link to the store. All the medical foods are in the medical foods collection. If you're interested in learning more about the products and the results that you're seeing here, go ahead and click the link above or below this video and check out MYMD Biotherapeutics.